Welcome to Business Mentorship, Keeping It Real, where we introduce corporate leaders who have taken the leap to business owner and participate with their great idea in our guest blog, found on shareyourstories.online. Our guest joins us from Toronto, Ontario. Maxine Warsh is an expert in skin rejuvenation and the founder of the Warsh Cloth. She's also one of the first 100 business stories we featured in the series, taking a leap of faith with us a few years ago. Let's hear a few of the highlights which have contributed to her ongoing success, along with a few things to consider when starting a new chapter in life. It is my pleasure to introduce and welcome Maxine Warsh.
Hi, Trish.
Hello, congratulations. You're not only successful as a business owner, but you're a collaborator, you're a mentor, and you're an advisor to many other entrepreneurs. And you've made a big decision to start a new chapter. So give us a few highlights on your entrepreneurial journey. I mean, you've had this wonderful, successful business. What were some of the highlights, things that really jazzed you up about your business?
Well, I think the first one was the idea of creating my own microcurrent unit. I was using other units, and when I wasn't getting cooperation from the, what do you call it, customer service, when things go wrong, my husband said, make your own. And I said, how am I going to do that? He said, you'll figure it out. And I did. And I made my own unit. And from there, I thought, well, I can put other people in this business, and I can give other women or men the opportunity to do their own faces. So I created a mini unit that was identical to my big unit electrically, but smaller, so it could be portable.
Right.
So that was a nice
turning point for sure.
Highlight, because when you look back, he sold quite a few of those units, and I put quite a few people in business.
Yes.
So, and then the other highlight, of course, was the Warsh Cloth. That was my accidental business, as I call it. I needed a promotional piece. I just, said to my husband again, what am I going to do? He said, that cloth. We had found a makeup remover cloth at a street fair. They were $20 each. If you bought 5, you got 1 free. Or you bought 6, you got 1 free. So I went back and bought 6. And when I went to buy them again, there weren't any. There was no signage on the cloth. I couldn't find this cloth to save my life. So again, back to the drawing board, I created my own cloth and started not selling them, but giving them away, thinking people would come in and have service. They didn't. They wanted more cloth. A business that found itself, and everybody that found it wanted it. So there we go. The Warsh Cloth was born. I was happy. There you go. You just follow your heart and you do the right thing, and everything works out.
So, there's qualities I think that we all have that we take with our passion, that we marry with our great idea. And clearly one of yours has been creativity. But what would you say would be another quality that you had as an entrepreneur that sort of carried you all the way through?
I like people. I like helping people be all they can be. If somebody asks me to help them, I'll help them all I can. And that's the spirit that I do things in. I just enjoy helping. I enjoy doing,
And you were in a service business. So, I mean, that too was helping people, right? With the skin rejuvenation was giving them an opportunity to look their best self.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as women, that women aren't always helping other women. It's competitive. It's an interesting world out there. And I don't see any benefits in that. I like giving back.
Right. Now, did you ever have a mentor, Maxine? I mean, I know you've mentioned your husband and he sort of helped you along the way because he too is an entrepreneur. So I know that, when you sit and have cocktails at the end of the day, you can chit chat about things. But did you ever have a mentor, someone else that you looked up to that you said, yeah, that person's really got what it takes?
Not one person, but along the way, there are aspects of other people you hear, whether it be on TV, speaking at a luncheon, somebody who opened a business of their own. Things, things they would say or do, or friends that I have that were in their own business. There wasn't a particular mentor, but there were other people along the way, people much younger than me, that were more savvy in other aspects of business. And it was like, wow, they make it look so easy,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
everyone's your teacher, right?
Yeah, that's so true. Now, I'm sure our viewing and listening audience, when they take a look at your story, they can see that you had some pretty awesome exposure in some real amazing national publications and TV and radio. So, how did that happen? Because I'm sure they're sitting back and thinking, "Geez, how do you do that? How do you get that kind of visibility?"
All I can say to everyone who's listening, who's in business, or even if you're not in business, network. Get out, meet other people. You don't know who other people know. They say each of us knows about 200 people. That's the average. I know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that can help you.
Right.
That's basically how that happened. I was out at a networking event and somebody said, I'd like to interview you. And okay. And it turned out to be,
A wonderful thing.
yeah, that was it. It,
Wow.
it was that easy. And somebody else, I know somebody who's doing interviews. I think you'd be a good candidate for, being interviewed.
Mm.
And that's how it works. And it's not just me, it can happen to anybody.
Sure. If you're open to it, right? I think you have to be open to the opportunity.
If you know what my whole driver was, getting out there, meeting people. Whether you knew somebody who wanted my service, you might know somebody who needs my service.
Sure.
And that's how it is in business. It's like,
Yeah.
listen, I was in a cottage industry. I wasn't a huge Estee Lauder kind of business. I was
Right.
a small neighborhood area business. But you work it. You have to work it.
Yeah.
It's
So true. So true. Now here we are. Fast forward to where we are today, and you've decided to start a whole new chapter. We'll use the R word. You're going to retire from the traditional sort of business model. What gave you the idea, or was it timing? Give our viewing and listening audience a few tips as to how do you. I mean, that takes a heck of a lot of gumption to say, it's time.
if you ever said to me, when are you going to retire? Do you think I'd say never? This was it. And then, my hands started bothering me. It's like holding those wands for 20 some odd years. Your hands get tired after a
Mhm.
while.
Mhm.
And, it was time to go to Florida in the winters. It was just that time, like you said, timing.
Right.
So it was, it just worked that way. That's
Right.
just the way the work went. It was like, I would say the competition of fillers and Botox and other dermatological inventions over the years that weren't the healthiest or the most natural took over.
Mhm.
And to this day, statistics show that only half the population wants that. There's still the other
Sure.
alternative, but it took over. It was, everybody's busy. Who has the time
Mhm.
these days? And that writing was on the wall, and I just decided there's other things to do and enjoy and keep busy with. And it was an easy decision. Now I've got tons of time to do tons of things. And I don't even think I have enough time to do all the things.
You want to do. Yeah. I think that's our biggest fear, right, Maxine? I mean, as an entrepreneur, we have this sense of control. We have an opportunity to manage our schedule. We have, we connect with our customers. It becomes our life, really. And, it's not just a career. It's what we do in life. So was there ever a moment in time when you thought, oh, geez, maybe this is not the right time? Or was it just a real natural progression for you?
Very natural progression, Trish. Very,
Yeah.
just one day followed the other. And I still keep my hands in it. I still see 3 clients, friends / clients. And it's fun. It's
Right,
fun
right,
to go back and visit. It's more of a social visit.
right.
But it's just time to take care of me and my husband. And
Do something different.
oh yeah.
So is there a real master plan here? Are you just going to go with the flow and whatever life presents is what you're going to do?
How did you know? How did you know? I'm definitely going with the flow. Every day is like a surprise. I wake up and sometimes I says, "What are you going to do today?" Well, today I have a meeting with Trish, and then I have Pilates, and I'll see what the rest of the day brings to me. It's like there's always something.
Yeah, you know what I love is that sense of freedom that I'm getting the feeling from you that, without having to tick off all the boxes that we normally do in a day, this is giving you an opportunity to explore
Oh yeah.
and be adventurous.
Yes, yes. And it is, life has become quite the adventure.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's been beautiful, beautiful so far.
Well, I have to say, Maxine, I know that you have helped so many people. You've been an inspiration to so many other entrepreneurs along their journey in being able to sort of see what's possible, right? Because I think your motto has always been follow your heart and do everything's possible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, if you had to provide a few words of advice for our viewing and listening audience who may be, the exit strategy is in the future. They've got a few more years to go, but they're getting their mind wrapped around what is that next chapter going to look like. What would be your words of advice for anyone who may be thinking of that R word?
Well, I would say have courage. Have some courage. Don't project what you think it will be like. Allow it to be.
Yeah.
It's not difficult at all. And it really, courage is a word that I'm using, but it doesn't even take courage. It just takes allowing. And you'll be taken care of. You've always been taken care of. Just allow it. Just allow it and enjoy yourself.
That's really wonderful advice because I think we get so wrapped up in the business of the business that we forget that there's a life outside of the business.
That's true.
And I think you've been a wonderful example, Maxine, of how to sort of grab the world by the opportunities and say, we're going to make it work. I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Well, on behalf of the Share Your Stories community, of which you've been very supportive over the years, I certainly want to thank you as you move into this new chapter in life. And I know that we'll keep in touch, and perhaps in a few years down the road when we're still doing the podcast, you can come back on and tell us how absolutely wonderful the new opportunities that came your way when you started this new chapter. So we're certainly wishing you continued success.
Thank you, Trish. Appreciate it.
To you, our viewing and listening audience, I'd like to thank you for joining us today for this edition of Keeping It Real, introducing you to the person behind the logo. If you'd like to connect with our guest, you'll find Maxine's contact information in the description portion below. I'm Trish Tonai, author, artist, and the founder and host for the series. And if you're interested in sharing your business story, visit our website at shareyourstories.online and subscribe to our channel, Business Mentorship, Keeping It Real. Thanks again for tuning in, and we look forward to meeting you next time when we share another great idea.